Hi, I'm no one in particular. I'm just a meerkat, but I love stubborn Joshi wrestling, so I asked my community from across my socials to comment a 90s Joshi match, and I added those matches to a roulette wheel like a Mayu Iwatani, and I named said wheel Wheeler. So let's see what this week's 90s Joshi match will be. It's Manami Toyota vs. Toshiyo Yamada in a hair versus hair match in 1982 AJW. A match that showed that 90s Joshi wrestling isn't just stubborn women going bonkers, but also had emotional moments about these wrestlers' relationships. Nothing has changed, people, just highlighted in the dream that is Joshi.
The dream of the 90s is alive, Joshi. The dream of the 90s is alive, Joshi.
August 15th, 1992, the WWF champion at the time was Macho Man Randy Savage in his final reign, and then WCW champion was Ron Simmons, but since it was aired on a tape delay, it would actually be Vader. The number one song in America was Enter the Road from Boyz II Men. The number one song in the UK was Rhythm is a Dancer from Snap. And the number one song in Japan was Komi Komi Club's Kimi ga Irudaki Day. In 15 days' time, Nirvana would perform live in Reading, which this meerkat had a bootleg copy on CD and would listen to it during standardized testing in 2000s. In film, Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me was released featuring one of the most underrated performances in film, with Cheryl Lee as Laura Palmer. In Japan, Takashi Miike would release his third film, A Human Murder Weapon. 40 or so films later, this meerkat would watch Audition in the 2000s, and Miike's work would be an early interest in Japanese film. But in Japan, AJW held Midsummer Typhoon featuring Manami Toyota vs. Toshiyo Yamada in a hair versus hair match that is classic for not just both of these women's fantastic performances and unrelenting intensity, but also for their post-match performance featuring an early example of what this meerkat loves to glaze about with Joshi wrestling and the theatrical components that complete pro wrestling as a whole art form of immersive storytelling. Sometimes you see a film you love today and then watch classic films and realize, that's probably the source. Like watching The Lighthouse, and then you watch Persona. One of the reasons I jumped back into Stardom's narratives is because of Tam Nakano vs. Julia's classic hair versus hair match. The post-match theatrics were beautifully performed, with Tam refusing to shave off Julia's hair, and Julia being like, "What the fuck, you silly woman? This hair versus hair match is straight classic film. Watch it." Yamada and Toyota formed a tag team in 1991 and were WWA Tag Team Champions while also having a rival with each other in the spirit of competition and personal relationships, a thematic element of Joshi wrestling that endures today. Prior to this match, they had 3 time limit draws in a row, and in their 4th match, Yamada finally defeated Toyota. She was angry, so they made a hair versus hair match because it's a dramatic version of Toyota's competitiveness, as her hair was beautiful. It starts like any other classic stubborn Joshi match. Right away, it's rough, it's raw, they know each other so well, so it's about finding openings. Yamada gains initial control over Manami, slowing her down to a halt to take her time to dismantle this wild woman and place her in signature Manami Toyota getting tortured and dying in stretched to oblivion spots. Manami then took control, but her rough and discombobulated form led to some sloppiness, and while this could detract the match, Yamada immediately took advantage and regained control, so it plays off as Manami being exhausted from the torture and her limbs not responding, and Yamada decimates her down with kick after kick after kick, and as usual, she gets a kick out of this.
Fuck me.
I'm kidding. I would love to say, look at the fine acting of one Manami Toyota. No, Yamada is kicking the shit out of her. More torture of the leg of Manami, and ironically her hair is in the way to cover her pain and anguish. Like she's just in survival mode. Look at this shit. And here's those glorious pain faces of Manami Toyota. But a missed dive from Yamada means Manami Toyota has a chance. So Manami Toyota does what she does best. Launch yourself, spam them drop kicks, show that passionate energy by draining the stamina and knocking the air out of Yamada with the drop kicks. Now Toyota will transition into suplexes, her many variations of suplexes in her arsenal, then move to high-flying spectacle. And then she is so relentless in hitting suplexes, and then the cradle roll. Now the action gets so intense. If you didn't know anything about these two, you wouldn't know when the match would end. Back and forth with bombs galore to knock each other for that pivotal 3 count and the taking of hair. And these two are so competitive and stubborn. The crowd gradually getting louder and louder, and Manami Toyota having her moment of killing herself. Look at that monitor land on Yamada though. Ow. Regular German? No. Japanese Ocean suplex? No. Moonsault? No. Yamada return kick? Lands a suplex and the crowd is getting louder and louder, and the suspense is getting to them. So listen to the climatic pop we get from the second phase Yamada. Yamada is hitting her limit break now, just straight murdering Toyota, because this is the way to finish her off for good, people. Pure murder by suplex. The counters continue though. Manami has hope, but this kick should have ended it if Manami didn't roll out of the ring. Yamada has to leap out to keep the damage going, bring her back in the hard way, but Manami Toyota never dies. Toshiyo Yamada uses her big special finisher in the Kudame Valentine, or the Kudo Driver, or the Vertebrator, or the fucking Cop Killer, as innovated by Megumi Kudo. But Manami Toyota counters with a victory roll that pops the crowd so huge! Great near fall! But Manami Toyota wastes no time to land one of the more brutal Japanese Cyclone Ocean suplexes on Toshiyo Yamada to finally defeat her rival and tag team partner. While the match was a classic and amongst their best, there's still a very beautiful, visceral, and emotionally charged post-match. Yamada will get her hair shaved off, but Manami Toyota is suddenly realizing the consequences of this match and doesn't want to humiliate her tag team partner like this. Oh, I'm sorry, I was just being stubborn. So in solidarity, Manami Toyota cuts pieces of her hair off, but in the end, she would fight back against the barber and protest violently, losing all emotional control, and it's very good stuff, people. Toyota being held back as Yamada loses her hair. But the deed is done. Yamada loses her hair. Toyota is emotionally drained. But with the battle over, the stakes claimed, hair gone, they embrace. Manami Toyota's post-match interview reaction says it all. She is drained, both physically and emotionally. See, people like to look back at AJW and accurately call it the Wild West. Insane action, innovation galore, these women are insane, but they also had emotionally charged moments that you would find in Stardom or even TJPW. Joshi wrestling has always been about strength, innovation, bravado, and emotionally charged performances based on personal relationships. Manami Toyota versus Toshiyo Yamada, hair versus hair match, is everything that I love about Joshi wrestling. So let's go ahead and spin Wheeler for next week's weekly Joshi 90s wrestling match. Spin it, Wheeler. Oh, it's Akira Okochi versus Shinobu Kandori from the AJW Dream Slam 1. An absolute classic match. See you next week, people.
The dream of life is alive, Joshi.